Hi all, welcome back. Action Kharkov, German Solo, part 57. Okay, I've done my usual thinking it was my impulse, and it's not. We've got an auxiliary card that did not get used. Yeah, nothing to talk about. I haven't watched back in the last part yet, so yeah, fingers crossed. Right, so the auxiliary card comes into the command card, so it is this. And we're going to activate up to 2 unit stacks in the 3rd Tank Army, not in a VP Hex, and all army reserves, and we do have a reserve, so let's have a look. Okay, so the 3rd Tank aren't quite as scattered about, still in a quite large area here. And this is the nice reserve that they get. 6 strength, 7 movement, 3 steps. So yeah, pretty nice. So however, it is only 2 unit stacks, and we're going to prefer supplied. Well, all of them are supplied, not surrounded. There's nothing surrounded, so it's going to be highest strength. And remember, this one automatically does get activated as well, so he's not part of the 2 unit stacks. Now this guy is in a VP Hex. Oh yeah, we've got more than one of them. This is in a VP Hex too. So that's not going to be active, and that's not going to be active. So that's 2 of the stronger ones as well. In fact, I think that might have got picked. Well, hang on. We've got stacks here though, so that's a stack of 4 strength. That's 4 strength. That's 4 strength. That's 4 strength. We can't activate these 2. This is 4 strength. So yeah, we're going to have to break that down a lot, aren't we? Nobody else lying about. Let's look from above just in case. No, don't think there's anything, to be honest, stacked with anything else from another army. Okay, so high strength, then it's most units. Okay, so that rules out this one and this one actually, because although they're 2, 4 strength, and this one, these are 3, 4 strength units, but they're only 1 unit, whereas this is 4 strength but 2 units, and this is 4 strength but 2 units. So I think it's going to be the 2 stacks that get activated. Which doesn't seem like it'd be too bad. However, this guy could have something to change that if he gets plonked into here, or in fact into here, and then there's an attack on Kharkov maybe. Yeah, it's definitely that, because we can't activate up to 2 unit stacks in 3rd Tank Army, not in a VP Hex. So that one was in a VP Hex. So was that one. However, he's just 4 strength on his own as well. 4 strength is the highest we can muster. These 3 units are 4 strength but on their own, and these 2 stacks are 4 strength, but there's 2 units in each stack. Okay, so that's going to be that. Right. So first of all, Vornes front objective marker. Now, because I don't think it is in its final place, is it? We can't reach anyway. We're not proximate to it anyway, but there's no point looking just now. I think it's maybe not in its final resting place, is it? I could be wrong. It might be. Well, we can't reach it just now anyway. We're not proximate to it. So if I was proximate to it, I'd have a look and see if it's in its final spot or not. Because then it doesn't matter. We've actually just got to move into it, doesn't it? So yeah, and this guy can't reach it either. So, and it's got to be from the Vornes front. It's not as if we can look at a Popov unit reaching it. Okay, so that's going to stay where it is. And we're going to move on to movement methods, and these are all infantry, aren't they? Yeah. 23, 30, 26 and 27. Yeah, okay, so maybe not an awful lot is going to happen here, but with that reserve, you just never know, they might get an attack in, possibly. Although we still have I think it's 10 strength in each one. No, did somebody not take a hit? Was it an attack on here? Yeah, that did take a hit. So there's only 8 strength in there now. I think there's still 10 in there. But they're out of supply as well, remember, so that could bring in some issues. Right, movement method. Right, we've already agreed it's still the same movement methods until the objective marker gets removed from play. We stick with 9.21 Soviet movement methods A. Right, so it's exactly the same what we've done. So first one is take a VP hex. It's only these 2 stacks, remember. So none of that can happen. Next one, adjacent to German VP hex and near objective. Well, our objective's down here, like I've said. These are already adjacent. These, if they moved adjacent to Kharkov, would not then be. And it's not that they could get around the other side. Not sure that would be closer anyway. Yeah, I think we looked at this before. Well, actual fact, there's not a gap. How's that unit got in there then if there's not a gap, Grant? Yeah, you can still move into there, yeah. You can't get right through there is what we're saying. I can't get away up to there. Okay, so they can't. So what about the guys that are already adjacent? Well, no, it needs to be within 4 hexes of their objective marker for them to maybe lock in, isn't it? Yeah, so units start adjacent to German VP hex within 4 hexes of objective marker, which they are not. So let's move on. Move method 3, open supply line. Yeah, I mean, we've not even had a shot yet this turn, so everything is still going to be in supply, and even the units that have moved in this first impulse had to stay in supply. It's part of the restriction. We've not moved to change any of that, so, and there was nothing out of supply at the start of the turn for the Soviets, so we can skip by that. 4 to 9 spearheads, well, because they're all infantry and we're on between turn 3 and 5, they still go through turn movement methods 4 to 9, so they don't skip them. So 4 is cause surround. No, these are all surrounded. This is surrounded. These 4 infantry units, which have 4 movement, have no place to go. The nearest unit is this core Rouse unit way down here, so I'm not even going to start suggesting that they could reach there. So moving on to the next one, to Soviet VP hex. Any move to an empty garrison Soviet VP hex targeted for the active front, to which the German unit is proximate or German supply is traceable. No. That's the one up there, but the German supply is not traceable. However, the second part of that, yeah, they're not going to get through though, are they? Wouldn't have the movement anyway. The second part, Soviet infantry units, if unable to move to an unoccupied Soviet VP hex, move to a VP hex occupied only by Soviet armoured units, regardless of German proximity or supply trace. So they would like to go and relieve this armoured unit, if they could, and also this guy who's too far down here. Now that's 2 armoured units in VP hexes that could do infantry relief, but like we say, we can't, although I can get into this hex just now, I can't get through and into that. I wouldn't have the movement in it. It's 1, 2, breaking zone of control, 3, 4, you know. So yeah, I can't do that. So it's adjacent to German VP hex. Okay. Move to hex adjacent to German VP hex targeted for the active front. And Kharkov is, isn't it? I don't see why we need to be looking at this, Grant, but you're looking anyway. Right, and it would be the wee icon for it is in here. Yeah, so it's got the yellow Voronezh front. So they are, Kharkov is targeted for them. So this is in ascending order. So looking at Unit 23, which is a Soviet unit starting adjacent to the most qualified German VP hex, is not moved by this or any subsequent method. Set is directed by 9.25. So that's what Unit 23 is looking at now. Let's get a bit closer to the action, Grant. Sorry about that. So 23, he's already adjacent, he's starting adjacent, so he's going to have a quick look at 9.25. And I think he can only reach, well, hang on. Okay, and then because we're doing 9.25, and okay, we're looking at being adjacent to Kharkov, but because we're adjacent to 2 German units, we've got to consider both of them, because they're not, it's not the German unit that's the target, it's the hex that's the target. So we've got to consider the possibility that it might move into here. In actual fact, yeah, it might. What that then could mean though is, don't tell me these guys are then going to go and switch places. Really? Because movement method 6 is in ascending order, so I'm doing this right. He's 23, innit? 23, yeah. I think 23 first. Right, okay, well, 9.25, there's these 3 options. We're looking at Unit 23, which is in the middle there. Soviet operational limit, hex would cause German unit to become surrounded. It's already surrounded. Hex and Soviet support. All 3 of the hexes are in Soviet support. An empty or garrison hex, not one of the hexes is empty or garrisoned. Oh, he's going to go up. Okay. Because preference F is a hex not occupied by an active unit. So this hex is occupied by active units, so is this. This is not an active unit. So he's actually going to adjust with 9.25 into there. By going 1, 2 breaking zone of control, and then 3, 4 back into the woods, and then adjusting with 9.25. Okay. I thought it was going to just tie break and come down, down there as well, and then I thought these guys are going to move adjacent to Kharkov. Right, so Unit 26 is next. Now he's not adjacent to Kharkov, so he's not just going to check and see if he'll 9.25, because he wants to move to a hex adjacent to German VP hex targeted for the active front. So he can only, prefer a hex, yeah. Prefer the hex occupied by least, yeah. That's just to find that hex. The only. Yeah, highest VP value. Yeah, that's just to determine which hex you're targeting. But we can only target Kharkov. So, 1, 2. Well, in actual fact, he can only reach this hex, I think, because of the woods there. Because he's got to go 1, 2 breaking zone of control, 3, 4 back into the woods, and however. Right, that's where he's wanting to move to. Okay. But in actual fact, he then is going to 9.25 between these 2 German units. So he is going to have the potential to move, to adjust back to where he's come from, which I think might happen this time. Right, so in actual fact, how I should really do this, because just to ensure that I know this unit has moved, he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 breaking zone of control, 1, 2 breaking zone of control, 3, 4 back into there. He's now adjacent to Kharkov, but he could adjust, and his possible adjustments from where he started, he cannot move into this hex. He could stay where he is, or he could have stayed where he was. Which I think this time he is going to do, isn't he? So 9.25. Yeah, no surround. They're both in support. Not adjacent to. I mean, they're both occupied by. Yada yada yada. Neither of them are empty, and neither of them have a hex not occupied by an active unit this time. So they're all active units. It was just that hex that did. So tiebreakers are closest to the unit's objective marker if in play. So that is going to actually adjust them back into this hex. So yeah, bit of a strange one how that works, but so I'm going to put 26 underneath. And this is the one that I thought, well, has this unit really moved? But I asked the question, Martin came back and said, well, if it moves, it moves, it's moved. So, fair enough. I suppose it did move there and then adjusted back. So, yeah, I suppose I can't really argue with that, can I? It just, I guess it feels a bit weird, doesn't it? Okay, so that was 23 and then 26 done their thing. So 27, well, he's going to try and do the exact same thing, isn't he? So, yeah, well, all we need to do with him is just mark him as moved and the same hex, because he's going to do the exact same thing. There's not going to be any difference. He's going to move adjacent to Kharkov and then adjust back closer to his army, his front objective. Now, Unit 30 is starting adjacent to Kharkov, so he'll lock in place unless he can move by 9.25. So he has the choice of here, staying where he is, or here, and then well, he's going to stay where he is this time because 9.25 operational limit, no surround, all in support, hex not adjacent to blah 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 blah, occupied by or adjacent, an empty garrison hex, and he's going to be in an empty hex, so he's going to stay there. Oh right, he's going to lock then. He's not moved. He's not moved. He's going to stay where he is. Yeah, he didn't move. That's right. That's right. Only if he had adjusted would he have been classed as moved. Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's it. All a bit of a nothing rule, isn't it? Okay. So attack checks. 23 is our best one now. He has 2 steps, so he can check here. This is 10 strength. Now, what about our reserve then? No auxiliary card, but we do have this reserve, obviously. So, yeah, definitely the reserve can definitely be placed, whether it's here or here. So we count that strength. So we've got 6, 8, and remember, none of the other units, just this one is active. So 6, 8, 10, and the same, this unit underneath is not active as well. So it's 10 to 10. However, it's 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 10 to 10, so which is 1 to 1, but it's 10 to 10. He doesn't have an IP. He's not adjacent to a supplied German unit, remember. It need to be supplied. The attack is in support. All units are out of supply, so that'd be a -2. So it's 10 against 8. It's still 1 to 1 odds, so yeah, command value, the cards are 1, so pretty sure this is not happening. So yeah, well, I suppose we should look. So it's only 1 to 1 odds. We're starting with a 1. It's not 2 to 1. It's not barrage. It is in support. That's a 2. If any attacking units are surrounded, they are not. If flanking will apply, defender will be surrounded and unable to trace supply. Well, not sure about the flanking will apply, but the other part does trigger. So that's up to 3. If target hex is VP 2 or greater, well, it is actually. Kharkov, it's got value of 4, isn't it? That's us up to 4. All combat tactics, auxiliary card apply. There's no auxiliary card. There's no, and we're not got less than 4 cards. So it was only a 4. So no. Yeah, because these are 1-step units. I don't, or is this a 2-step underneath? No. So Now where was... Ah, they're out of supply, Grant, that's it. They can be classed as lead units, can't they? Let's check this. Unit can't lead if it already attacked this activation, or if dispersed, out of supply or isolated. Unit with 1 step, or in VP hex with less than 3 steps. Kind of forgot about that one. Just wonder if that's maybe come up. Don't think so. So a unit with 1 step or in VP hex with less than 3 steps can't lead against supplied target. So these can lead because these are not supplied, these targets. So we've checked 23 and we've checked this hex along with a support of 30. So 30 can still be counted into this target. So it's 2, 4, 6. And then again, this reserve would come in. So we've got 12 this time. Ooh, this could be closer. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, of course, we've got a wee bit extra strength, yeah. So 12. And like I say, because I know these are 1-step units, but let me just see that in the rule book. 9.4. Can't be the lead unit if has just... Furthermore, if the target is supplied, the active unit can't be a lead unit if it has just 1 step. So the target's not supplied, so as long as it's not already attacked and is not dispersed out of supply or isolated, it doesn't matter how many steps it's got, or even if it was in a VP hex, it would still be counted because the target is out of supply. Okay, good. Right, so what did I say? 6, 12. So it's 12 against what I think I said there was 8 here, eh? That's going to take it to 2 to 1 because 12 against 8, and again he's not adjacent to supply German unit and he's out of supply, so 12 and a -2 for that, so that's 12 against 6, so that is 2 to 1. Yeah, it's going to be close. I think if they had an auxiliary card, I think it might just maybe hit 6. It's not got an IP, is it, that one? No. So we've got 2 to 1. The card starts with a 1. And we've got 2 to 1. So that boosts it up by 2, up to 3. No artillery barrage. We're in support, yeah, up to 4. If only Soviet units have armour. Well, they don't have armour. Well, actually they do, yeah, with us. But we've got armour anyway. So we're still sitting at 4. If any attacking units are surrounded, no. If flanking will apply, not sure it will, but the defender will be surrounded and unable to trace supply, so that's a yes. So that's up to 5. Target hex is VP 2 or greater. No, it's not. If all combat is done, yeah, we're only getting to 5, aren't we? Because the value of the card is only a 1 though. If it had been a 3, yeah. If it had been a 3, that would have been a hat there, so yeah, not to be. And that's it. So we do have 1 unit that didn't actually move though, this one here. And we do actually have a reserve. Ooh, okay, that's the first time I've been getting to look at this then. So we've conducted our attack checks. There's no other checks to be made. We didn't do any attacks, blah blah blah. So step 4 is place eligible active reserve units on the map. Right, now what does that involve actually? Let me go back to sequence of play. Place eligible active reserve units on the map. It's actually 9.5. Why didn't it tell you in the... Yeah, could have done 9.5 in brackets at the end of that bit on the back of the rule book. However, let's not be picky, Grant. 9.5. Right, placing active Soviet reserve units. When a Soviet army is activated by any Soviet card, all units of that army in the reserve box become active reserves, eligible for placement on the map in 2 ways. During step 3 of the Soviet activation sequence, active reserve units may be placed on the map to participate in Soviet attacks per the procedure in 12.2. Well, we only got to check in to see if it might come in. And it would have came in, but however the check failed. So, and then from turn 4 onwards, beginning on game turn 4, during step 4, the Soviet activation sequence, all active units in the reserve box are placed in VP hexes and village hexes on the map, often replacing garrison markers. Alright. So where are they going then? Right, placing reserves in Soviet activation step 4, place all active units in the reserve box on the map one at a time in descending numerical order. Well, we've only got that one unit. A hex is eligible for reserve placement if all the following are true. The hex is a village or Soviet town / city targeted by the active front. German town / cities are not eligible. Okay. The hex is empty or contains only a garrison. Okay. Soviet reserve supply can be traced to the hex. Right. The hex is not adjacent to a Soviet unit unless the hex is a VP hex. If in a village hex, a reserve unit placed there would not be nearly surrounded. Okay. The hex is not beyond the current operational limit. Well, we're not at that yet. Okay, so there's a few things there, but let's check some of the preferences, I think. Among eligible hexes, prefer a hex to which German supply can be traced or to which a German unit is proximate. Okay. Right, this could be kind of tricky to find. And then B is a garrisoned hex. Okay, let me pause and try and think this one through. I think this could be quite hard to find, but maybe just because the first time it's happened. Okay, I've just randomly put some cubes down there because we're going to have to break this down a bit. Well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to move on to preference B, which is a garrison hex. As you can see, these 4 are not in garrisons. These 2 are. Now, they're all targeted for Voronezh front, which is the active front. However, apart from this one is targeted for Voronezh front as well. This one, however, is not. It's not targeted for any front, so obviously that's not an option. But and then the other things. It has to be a village or a town city targeted by the active front. The hex is empty or contains only a garrison. Okay. Now these aren't just the only ones. I'm just like trying to work my way through this. Soviet reserve supply can be traced to the hex. Remember, it's a reserve supply this time. This road from here is still good though, because we get onto this hex here, we trace up into here, and as long as we're not going into that hex, we just go up here. We're not going through a German zone of control, even, remember, it doesn't matter if I've got for reserve supply, if we've got a friendly unit there. So we're not going anywhere near, we're not going through a German zone of control, full stop. The hex is not adjacent to a Soviet unit unless the hex is a VP hex. Well, none of these ones are. Like I say, this is not exclusive yet. There could be many more options here. And then, if in a village hex, a reserve unit placed there would not be nearly surrounded. There's not an issue with any of them, but obviously that's something you need to look at. If a nearly surrounded means one movement of one German unit stack, moving adjacent, being able to surround it in one movement. So, and then the last one that needs to be true is it's not beyond the current operational limit, which we're not in yet. So then, preferences. A hex to which German supply can be traced or which a German unit is proximate. Well, all these you can trace German supply just to the map edge. There's this road from. In fact, this is on a German supply head road. That pop-off unit moved away, and this is still controlled by the Germans. So, so all them are able to trace German supply. So preference B, however, is a garrisoned hex. So that automatically then takes away all these because this is a garrisoned hex. I'm pretty sure I'm going to find some more though, because like pretty sure this is probably going to be one. Right, we looked at that one already. This is, oh no, that's not a Vornes front either. So there could be quite a few. And then preference C is a hex adjacent to a German unit. Well, if it's going to be a garrison hex, it's not going to be adjacent to a German unit, I don't think. So there's that. And I think my assumption is that all these are going to be, yeah, all these are southwest front. That one's nothing, that one's nothing. And then all these are southwest front. Yeah, okay. So we don't need to look across that side, which makes sense. Okay, right, I'm gonna go and find my targets. Right, just before I carry on here, I thought, why not look at the next preference grant? Because I don't think you're going to get one that's adjacent to a German unit, well, that's also a garrison. Preference D is a hex in Soviet support. E is a city hex. F is a VP hex. And yeah, let's the G. Well, I suppose no, there's a G and an H. G is closest to a supplied unit in the active army, not placed as a reserve in the current activation. And H is closest to a supplied unit in the active front. Right, I think I'll look at D for the moment, because can we get something that's in Soviet support? Because this is not, and this is not. So, however, are you actually going to find anything, Grant? Because anything beyond that line is probably not going to be able to trace German supply. Is it targeted exclusively for the front, or no, just targeted by the front? Because these are sort of dual targets. They're adjacent to Soviet units as well. I mean, maybe we're not actually going to find one that's a garrison, because all the garrisons are out of support, aren't they? Well, the ones that are relevant to the Vornes front, there's some up there that are inside. And, well, yes, we've got our towns and cities up here, but there's no way German supply is traceable to them. And that's our first preference. Okay. It's funny when you look at these moves for the first time when you're doing something and you think, oh my god, this could be anywhere. It could be so many different options and whatever. And then things start sort of settling into, I'm not saying for sure here, but it's quite possible this is our X. And, well, let's have a look though, because so the hex is a village or Soviet town, city, targeted for the active front. Yeah, it's dual targeted, that one, but that means it's still targeted for the active front. Hex enter contains only a garrison. Yeah. Soviet reserve supply can be traced to the hex. Yeah. Can just go 1-2 onto the road there and it's fine. There's nothing in its way. This is the German unit close to it. The hex is not adjacent to the Soviet unit unless the hex is a VP hex. Yeah. If in a village hex, a reserve unit placed there would not be nearly surrounded. And no, because although this German unit's here, there's nothing. I mean, yes, he could move in adjacent to it, but there's nothing else there to surround that. So, and remember, nearly surrounded means just one movement, not like dangerous around where you can look at multiple units. Not that would matter in this situation anyway. The hex is not beyond the current operational limit. So that satisfies all the whatever it is. And so among eligible hexes, so let's just say there are some others. I mean, yes, these could be considered because these are in German supply, like I said, also this garrison. But then I reached the point where I realised that it wasn't in support. So Let's look at A. A hex to which German supply can be traced or to which a German unit is proximate. Well, I think supply is probably traceable, but however, this unit's proximate to that hex, so that's fair enough. B, a garrison hex. Well, I can't see. I mean, yes, there's garrison hexes down here. Yeah, hold on though, Grant. Because that's coming before support, isn't it? Sorry, this one here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to backtrack to that then, aren't I? And a hex adjacent to a German unit. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling to get through this one. I thought I had something here. I looked too far ahead here. I moved to preference D, which is a hex in Soviet support, and this is probably the only one that's in the front. Well, this one's adjacent to Soviet unit as well, which you can't do. It's the only one that's in support and German supply or approximate to. So I guess that's what I was thinking, but no, I need to come back. I need to come back to garrisoned hexes, Grant. Okay, let's try again. So they four garrisons are all targeted for Vornes front. This one's not targeted for anything. This one's not targeted for anyone. And then the other ones over that side are southwest. Now, there is the ones up the top, but there's no way we're tracing German supply in any of them. And although this is a unit that could move, he's not proximate to that one, for instance. So we don't need to consider that. So let's look at these now and see, go through again. So a hex has a village or Soviet town city target by active front. Okay, good. A hex is empty or contains only a garrison. Yep. Soviet reserve supply can be traced to the hex. Right, we've got to watch this one now because this is over the side where this road's not going to work now because we can't trace through here for reserve supply. So that will mean, I think we need to try and hit this road here. Oh, hang on though. Well, hang on. We could maybe actually reach map edge from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no. So this one's okay. He can go there. I don't think this one's going to be able to trace reserve supply because he's only going to be able to hit. So we can't hit this road. This is not any good because we need to go through there. And this road's not any good. And this road's not any good. So it has to be this road or this map edge, I would say. So that one, that's ruled out. Can't trace reserve supply with that. So what about this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he can get on this road, so he's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he's fine as well. Okay, so they three can trace reserve supply. So next one is the hex is not adjacent to a Soviet unit unless the hex is a VP hex. None of them are adjacent to a Soviet unit. If in a village hex, a reserve unit placed there would not be nearly surrounded. Again, no, this is the closest German unit, but he's on his own, so forget about that. And then current operational limit doesn't come into it. So among eligible hexes, prefer a hex to which German supply can be traced or which a German unit is proximate. Well, no German unit's proximate. However, German supply can be traced right off the map edge, right off the map edge, right up that map edge. So that's fine. Preference B, a garrisoned hex. Well, that's why I've only selected them. Or we could have considered this as well. Would have been a possibility. And maybe this as well. They might have been, but I was kind of just jumping ahead there and sort of breaking that down. But maybe I should have done that just to make it look like we knew what we were doing. Although I did do that first down here, and then I went sort of jumped ahead, didn't I? I don't know why that was. So a garrison. So we've got these German supply can be traced to them, and they're all garrisoned hexes. And then we're looking for a hex adjacent to a German unit. Well, none of them are that, and like I say, I'm not going to find. There's no Soviet garrisons on the map that are adjacent to a German unit anywhere, because you don't place them adjacent to German units. So it's only as if, I mean, fair enough, if we had moved adjacent, then there might have been that situation. So we can skip by that one. D, a hex in Soviet support. Well, no, none of them are in Soviet support. And this is what threw me up to here, thinking, right, I need to be in support. But you've got to remember, you've got to go through them in the alphabet, from A to H. Grant, you start at A and then you don't just jump to D and then go back. So a hex in Soviet support, none of them are. E, a city hex, none of them are. F, a VP hex, none of them are. And just looking at cities and VP hexes, they were all the ones that were further up, and German supply is not traceable to any of them. So, they weren't a consideration. Okay? So that was a VP hex. So G, right, here we go. Closest to a supplied unit in the active army, not placed as a reserve in the current activation. Closest to a supplied unit in the active army. Right, so we're looking for a third tank unit. So this one's 2 away. 1, 2, 3. This one's 4 away. And this one's 4 away as well. This one looks like the winner then. Now I'm just wanting to double check because these units aren't active because it's an army units card, but it's not really saying that, is it? Closest to a supplied unit in the active army, not placed as a reserve in the current activation. And then it closes with preference H, which is closest to a supplied unit in the active front. So again, yeah, I mean that would be the same, wouldn't it? It'd still be that one. Yeah, I suppose I'm just worried that because the units aren't active, it's not the whole army that's active, if you know what I mean. But come on, Grant, it does say activate up to 2 unit stacks in third tank army. So surely that has to be the third tank army or the active army. Closest to supplied unit in the active army. I mean, you could want to consider, this could be Grant's mind away doing its thing, mind you. That I kind of want to sort of feel like it's got to be the one that's closest to these active units, but well, you know what, in actual fact, you might still have the same hex. Yeah, you actually will. I'm pretty sure it's not that. I'm pretty sure it does count third tank units, because preference H is closest to a supplied unit in the active front. So that's kind of saying, what is active front right now? The active front is Vornez front. So that can be any one of these Vornez front units. Yeah. So yeah, This is the guy. He's closest to this. So that was pretty heavy going in the end, to be honest. Just let me have a look there. I think we eventually broke it down right. And again, it's one of these ones that once you've done the first time, you're probably going to realise how to do it. There's a lot of preferences in there. You've got to go through preferences. That was foolish of me to jump thinking I needed to be in a hex and Soviet support. That just threw me. That cost me more time to deal with this than it needed. And I was right. I was on the right track at first, wasn't I? Because I was like, I had this marked, and the only reason I marked this one was to show you that it wasn't part of the active front, and I had these all marked. And then we realised it was garrisons, and I took all these off and left this one on. And then for some reason, I went, oh no, wait, this isn't in support, but that's preference D, Grant. If there's no garrisons up there. There's no garrisons. And garrisoned as preference B, Hex and Soviet support is preference D. Right, okay, I'm going on a bit, right. Okay, so we know it's going to be here. So this unit's going to go in here. That garrison gets removed. And yeah. Well, let's say the first time it's happened, so hopefully that it's right. Yeah, and I'm treading sort of on sort of thin ice at the moment because I've got a trip to work. I've got to travel down to Derby on Monday for a rules exam thing, and it's like a 5.5 hour train journey, and I'll get the train from here as well, so that turns it in about 6.5 hours, and also I'm coming back as well. Then I'm staying overnight, but I come back the next day, another similar journey. So I'd quite like to have just kept some of the video footage that I'm recording just now as something to review and give me something to look at on the way, you know. So it's not that I want to rush and watch through this and send it out there to you. So yeah, there is that sort of unsurety about if I've got that right or not. I think so. Yeah, I just ran through everything there while I was pausing. I'm pretty confident that, as confident as it can be, that was the right one. So we're going to have to just stick with it now. Right, that was only eligible reserve for step 4 of the Soviet impulse. So step 5 is remove eligible active units to the reserve box. Well, we did have that one unit, and to be honest, that's why I didn't think he was going to, but he is adjacent to 2 Soviet hexes, isn't he? So, and he's adjacent to German units, so in actual fact he might go away. Right, there's no rule in brackets there as well. Actually, we've got that. I think we can get that on the play raid, actually. Was that on the play raid as well? Yeah, it is. Place one at a time. Hex is eligible for placement of all their true. Yeah, play raid looks like it has everything covered, to be honest, for what we just done there. So we might be able to just use that next time. Right, remove active units to reserve box. Adjacent to German unit, yes. Removal would not cause Soviet unit to be nearly surrounded. No, because him coming out of there is not allowing anything to move. If an operational limit, removal would not cause surrounded German unit to become unsurrounded. No. Unit was not placed in reserve this activation. Yeah. Not in Kharkov. No. And then, did I not miss something there? No. Right, in or adjacent to village targeted only by non-active front. No. In a VP hex. No. In a non-VP hex and operational limit stacked with a unit. No. Or adjacent to 2 Soviet occupied hexes. Well, it is adjacent to 2 Soviet occupied hexes. So yeah, he's gonna active on map unit in hex in supply. I was wondering about the bit that it didn't move. That's actually in the sort of the start bit. Active on map unit in hex in supply is eligible if the unit didn't move or attack this activation, and all the following apply. So he did not move or attack. He checked for adjustment by 9.25, and he just locked himself in there, as I've been just putting it. What sort of sounds like it makes some kind of sense. So he stays in his one step side, and he's in the reserve units box. And that was step 5. Step 6, place an IP. Well, the rest of the units all moved. The other 3 units moved. And then remove disperse markers. No. Right, that's it. 23, 24. Yeah, that's it. So, Yeah, not an awful lot, but that caused me a bit of a headache. Placing the reserve. That's why this has got to 50 minutes. So that's their impulse done. So now we do get a shot. My guess is we're going to chuck a bunch of reserves on the... Which ones? I don't know. Probably the 57. I think we're as well trying to get that possibility happening. Deploy the 57 core units into wherever it might be, possibly here or here, I think. With the hope that we might, who knows, I might get real lucky. I've been quite lucky with my card draws. Yeah, like I say, it's been some eyebrows raised whenever I've drawn a card at the right time. But I might draw a supplemental for the 47 core. Pop off, maybe don't activate. I then get them moved down into Predovka and then remove dispersal for that guy. That would be perfect, some would say. I could also consider... I think that's a bit bold thought, Grant, because I think, do we not have an assault coordination? We do, yeah, but all our cards are like wanting to deploy our reserves, aren't they? There's our assault coordination. I'm not going to use that for assault coordination. Reinforced battle. Well, that's a card with reinforced battle. So yeah, every one of them have something else that's more urgent to do, I think. Right. Well, I might as well cut this part now. It was 51 minutes. I know it wasn't really a big impulse, but it did bring something new to the game that we've not seen before. So yeah, need to be a bit more careful, and hopefully I was careful enough and got that right, even though it did draw things out a bit. Right, well, I'm going to come back straight away anyway, because I'm still got more time just now. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, cheers.